This webinar is about identifying improvement opportunities in your business and how to carry out a waste walk. My name is Catherine Boyle and I work for Invest Northern Ireland as an operational excellence coach. The Operational Excellence team are trained coaches with numerous years of business experience across a wide range of sectors and sizes of companies. We work with Northern Ireland businesses to improve their productivity, profitability and competitiveness. If you've any queries or you want some more information about the support that we offer, then please send your requests through to opexquery@investni.com. During this session, I'll talk about how to identify different types of waste in your process, what a waste walk is, and how to carry one out. I'll include a number of practical examples and learnings which can be applied across a range of business sectors as well as in different departments within your business. Think about your business for a minute. Do you experience any of these in your process? Rework, queues, waiting for sign-offs, stockouts, design changes? These types of issues waste time, money and resources within your business, but without adding any value for your customers. There are two different types of these non-value adding activities or wastes. There are internal wastes within your business which increase the lead time from receipt of a customer order until you're paid for it. These can account for up to 90% of your total lead time. There are also external wastes which are experienced directly by your customers. I'll talk about the internal wastes first. The acronym to help you remember these is TIM Woods. There are 8 internal wastes, which are transport, inventory, motion, waiting, overproduction, overprocessing, defects, and unused skills. The waste of transport is the physical or virtual movement of product, material, data, orders, and information around the business. Some examples are unnecessary information exchange between departments, moving raw material, product, or orders from one location or department to another. The waste of inventory occurs when you have excess work or resources that is beyond what is needed. Some examples are keeping more material in stock than you really need, storing documentation and records for longer than is necessary, or working on lots of jobs at the same time. Something to bear in mind is that the cost of keeping stock can be up to 25% of the value of the inventory. These costs include damaged or obsolete stock and the rent, rates, heating and lighting being paid for the storage area. The waste of motion or movement exists when there is unnecessary physical or virtual movement of workers and tools that takes time, uses energy, and may create health and safety issues. Some examples of this are walking to and from places to fetch tools and information you need to do your job, like running to stores for parts or having to walk to the printer in the next room. Another example is a poorly designed workstation or having to look in several places to find all the information you need to complete a task. The waste of waiting is idle time which is created when information, people or equipment aren't ready, causing a delay between when one process step ends and the next one begins. Some examples are orders in a work queue waiting for approval or information, or unplanned downtime due to equipment breakdowns or cleaning. The waste of overproduction exists when you produce more items, orders or information than the customer wants or than a downstream process can use straight away. These would be things like making more than the customer has ordered to keep in stock or just in case, or producing reports that no one reads or uses. The waste of overprocessing occurs when there are steps in your process that do not add value to the product or service, including doing work beyond a customer's specifications. For example, filling in a manual form or order book and then copying the information onto a computer system, or producing a higher specification product or service than the customer needs or wants, like designing a complicated computer program when the customer only wants a very simple application. The waste of defects occurs when you're making a product or delivering a service that doesn't meet the customer requirements first time around, as well as the wasted time and resources that have already been spent on providing the defective product or service. The waste of defects also includes the effort involved in inspecting for and fixing defects, errors and mistakes. These are things like an incorrectly completed application that has to be redone, and faulty or damaged product that needs to be repaired or scrapped. The waste of unused skills occurs when you're not adequately leveraging people's skills, experience, creativity and talents, or when you have people doing jobs they're overqualified for. An example of this waste that we see a lot of is when managers are trying to solve problems on their own and they're not listening to team members' improvement suggestions or involving them in problem-solving activities relating to their job. So how do you actually go about eliminating waste from your process? Firstly, it's important to understand which activities in your process waste time and resources. You need to identify the resources, information, and material involved. In businesses, there's usually a catch-22 situation where those who have the most power to change the organisation know the least about what needs to be changed, and those who know the most about what needs to be changed have the least power. This is the reason why you need to get your people involved and talk to them about what's really happening. Go and observe each process step one at a time to find out what tasks are actually carried out. Look for waste hidden in the activity and categorise the waste observed using Tim Woods. Base process improvements on facts and use a structured approach like a waste walk template. This is an example of a simple waste walk template. Understanding what the 8 wastes are will enable you to identify wastes in your work area. Firstly, categorise the waste using Tim Woods and bear in mind that some non-value adding activities may fall under more than one waste category. For example, when the sales team phone up to find out about the status of an order, someone has to phone round to find out where the order is in the process. Then they have to move materials around to physically find the order in question. And meanwhile, the sales team are waiting for an update so they can contact the customer. The next step is to define the priority for removing the waste based on the impact it's having on the process. Then you need to estimate the level of difficulty to eradicate the problem. If eliminating the waste is difficult or expensive, there may be a compromise option that will even help to reduce the waste. Using these different pieces of information will help you to develop a smart action plan for reduction of waste in your process. Now we're going to look at a couple of different scenarios to see what wastes we can identify. Watch this short video of a busy warehouse and see if you can identify any of the 8 wastes here. I'd play the video again, but this time have a look at all the pallets of material on the right-hand side. How easy is it to get at the ones in the middle of the pile? Are these coming in, going out, or a mixture of both? Think about the waste of transport and motion, and then waiting when someone's searching for items they need for an order. These pallets also seem to be restricting access to the roller shutter door on the right-hand side beside these stacks of empty pallets. Again, more transport waste or waiting while these are cleared to unload a delivery. There are a lot of pallets on the floor on the left-hand side in front of the racking, which will need to be pulled out to get at the boxes behind them. Watch the girl carrying the box of material, the waste of motion. The girl also has a near miss with an electric pallet truck further down the aisle, so there's a health and safety issue there. There's also a lot of inventory here. How much rent or rates is being paid for this area? Is the stock organised with the most popular items readily accessible and those which are ordered less often on higher shelves? Are the raw materials segregated from the final product? What if an improved design is developed and the inventory becomes obsolete? Or if the stock's not rotated properly and some goes out of date? Have you any of these wastes in your warehouse or stores areas? This time we're in a typical office environment. Which of the 8 wastes can you see here?
I think the printer needs some paper.
Hello? No, he's not here today. I don't know. I'm not sure. I can't get into the system. Okay. Bye. he's not in today. Okay, bye. Sorry, I only needed 2 copies of the top sheet. That one's broken. There's another one on the 2nd floor.
So, did you spot the wastes? Here are the problems you might have observed. Look at the untidy desk. Too many files and papers on the desk is an inventory issue. The office administrator at the photocopier has problems with both movement and inventory, as the paper not only runs out, but is stored away from the copier. Her colleague is waiting unnecessarily while the problem is sorted. Did you see the office manager who had to get up to answer his absent colleague's phone? Not only is there a movement problem, but the fact that he cannot access the system is a defect. To cap it all off, he gets up again to answer the phone. More movement problems. The fact that the administrator then hands too many documents to the man is clearly overproduction.
I only needed 2 copies of the top sheet.
There is clear overproduction as most of the copies are binned. Problems with defects, transport and movement continue when the office manager admits that the copier has been broken for some time and advises the administrator that there is a working copier on another floor.
Are any of these wastes familiar to your business? A spaghetti diagram is a simple but useful tool for identifying the wastes of transport and motion. Start by sketching out a plan of the area in question, for example, different equipment or departments in a production area, or teams sharing a printer. Each time information, materials, or people move from one place to another, mark this as a line on the plan. After a while, you'll start to see patterns and trends which will highlight the most commonly used routes or movements. It's called a spaghetti diagram because by the time you've finished, it looks like a plate of spaghetti. In the simplified example shown here, it might make sense to move the lathe closer to the toolroom or vice versa. Just something that might be worth noting here is that it takes the average person 1 second to walk 1 meter. So if you're tracking people movement, you can measure the distance between 2 objects on the plan and work out how much time a person spends walking about, which is the waste of motion. This spaghetti diagram was carried out for just 1 person over the space of a morning. So think of how much time could be saved by the entire team over the course of a week or a month. So far, I've covered the types of internal wastes that are typically found within business processes. Now I'm going to talk about the external wastes that pass through to your customers. The acronym to help you remember these types of wastes is IOUDUD. The 7 external wastes are incorrect inventory, lost opportunities, unclear communication, delays, unnecessary movement, duplication, and errors. The waste of incorrect inventory occurs when there's a discrepancy between the stock levels on the system and those on the shelves, or incorrect stock codes have been used. Over the course of 2020, when there was a surge in online ordering, there was a lot of this going on as businesses struggled to keep their inventory levels up to date. This waste occurs when businesses miss opportunities to win or retain customers in sales. Some examples of this are not returning customer inquiries or not having up-to-date contact or product details on your website or social media pages. The waste of unclear communication exists when customers have to seek clarification due to confusion over the use of one of your products or services. This could happen if you give your customers confusing, incomplete, or even inconsistent instructions. Delays occur when customers have to wait for service. These could be either due to delays in responding to customer inquiries or long lead times caused by a lot of non-value adding tasks in your processes, which are restricting the flow of orders through the system. The waste of unnecessary movement occurs when the service encounter is not designed with the customer in mind, or when the ordering process is difficult to navigate. This can be either face-to-face, on the phone, or online. Is it easy for your customers to find exactly what they're looking for? Is placing an order straightforward? Or do they have to go through a complicated phone or online chat system with umpteen menus or questions first? Is your customer contact system designed with the customer in mind or purely to meet the business's requirements? The waste of duplication occurs when the customer has to re-enter data or repeat details, etc. This can be something like having to give all your details all over again to each person you talk to when you phone them, or having to talk through your situation from the start each time you contact them. The waste of errors occurs when there are mistakes in the transaction leading to errors for the business or for the customer. For example, errors or mistakes resulting in lost or damaged goods, incorrect shipping address, wrong items sent, and so on. So what do you do next? Choose a pilot area to start working on. Carry out a waste walk with a team from the area. Identify and categorise the internal wastes in the process using Tim Woods. Are there any wastes which the customer sees? Think about IOU Dude. Is the customer experience as straightforward as it could be? Are your processes designed with the customer in mind? Rank the wastes you've identified in order of priority. How easy is it to eradicate each waste? Or is there a compromise solution which will even reduce the waste? Develop a SMART action plan with goals that are specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and time-bound. Have you learnt anything from the pilot that you could apply to other processes or departments? Start working through these actions and then decide which area you're going to focus on next after the pilot area. So just to recap on what I've covered in this session, there are wastes within your processes which consume energy, time, money, and people resources in your business. 90% of the activities within your business processes may not add value for your customers. The 8 categories of this internal waste are remembered using the acronym Tim Woods, which stands for transport, inventory, motion, waiting, overproduction, overprocessing, defects, and unused skills. There are also 7 types of external wastes which pass through to your customers. These are remembered using the acronym IOU Dude, which stands for incorrect inventory, opportunity lost, unclear communication, delay, unnecessary movement, duplication, and errors. Wastebox and spaghetti diagrams are simple but useful tools which can be used to identify opportunities for improvement within your business. If you want any more information on anything that has been discussed during this session, please send your request through to opexquery@investni.com. And thank you for listening.